Hi guys, TinaGale here, and I am back doing another layout. I'd come across these photos that are quite old, and it made me think that it would be perfect for this month's Flavor of the Month kit. It has Jelly Bean, Too Cool for School, and you can tell there's lots of that blue and blue-green and the darker purpley blue, and so it matches my son's coat and my daughter's clothes really well, and then my husband's in the dark and the turquoise. So I just thought it couldn't be any more perfect, and I really don't have a lot of school photos to scrapbook, so I'm going to use the B-sides and some of just the general colors in it. So let me go through and show you some of what's in the kit. I do have the Flavors of the Month, and I have the Embellishment, so the extra, or I mean the add-ons. So I have the Embellishment add-on and the patterned paper add-on in here. So I have some word labels or word stickers. So I'm hoping to get some of those on the page. This sticker sheet, which has an alphabet, lots of words that I can put on there. Some of the other embellishments are these die cuts from the ephemera pack, some puffy stickers. So I'm going to try to use as much as possible. This is one of the strips that comes, and it's the cut apart, so this is part of like the embellishment, I think. Or it may have come in the Shots of Life. I'm actually not sure, but it's a cut apart, but I love this color because it has all of the colors that I want to pull for my photos. This one that has the stars, and then this side. So I want it for this one. This one called Wild Child. I want it for this side with the chevrons. The back has the green with the ball caps. The blue plaid, which I pulled out for this side. The back side has the pennants on it. And then I have this one that has the orange and the blue-green, more hats. The gears, I might try to pull these in, some of them, I'm not sure, and then the yellow. So you can tell these two sheets don't really go with my color scheme quite as much, other than that one. So I'm going to lay those to the side, and then I have some gray cardstock. Haven't decided if that's what's going to build on my background because I'm just not sure what I'm going to do yet. I've also been trying to pull things from my stash and use up things that I've had for a while. So I pulled out a couple of washies. This is a black and white diagonal stripe. This one has gold stars. So I thought those were cute. They will go well. And I have some Flair, which is in the blue and the blue-green, and the ampersand in the black. So I've pulled those out to try to get on a page because I just haven't been using them. These, which I believe are from Bo Bunny, but they have some of the green and the blue-green turquoise brads, so I'm hoping maybe I could use a few of those. Oh, yep, Bo Bunny Welcome Home brads from 2011. Time to get them used. Then I have these that are Cosmo Crickets, and they're the little fabric covered brads. There's several in green, and then the high. So I don't know. I thought maybe those might be able to get put on there. I'm just really trying to use up some things that have just been in my stash that I just don't go looking for because I've gotten so used to getting the kits and just working from the kits. But it's fun to pull out some of your stash and incorporate into it and use up your product. I'm going to start with my photos and then just work back to the cardstock background. I did go ahead and decide to use the gray in the cardstock. I haven't used a lot of cardstock backgrounds lately, and this one, since I had limited papers, I really wanted to go ahead and use that. And the papers are busier and brighter, so I felt like on the gray background it left that area for your eye to kind of rest and keep all of the focus in on the photos. So you're going to see me just go back and forth with these papers, trying to decide in what order I wanted them, how much space I wanted them to show. And I kept trying to get that plaid paper in, and I just can't make it work. I love it, but it's just different enough from these three papers that it just seemed like it was out of place. So just like I said earlier, this paper that's on the white background, I knew I wanted it, and I kept thinking I was going to cut like a banner. I just didn't know whether I wanted it right behind the photos or if I wanted it in with the layers. So here I go with that gingham plaid again, trying to fit it into those layers, but I need to give it up. Also, this paper here that had the chevrons, I was thinking about maybe doing a banner with it behind the photos, but I needed it to go horizontal like this, and then it just left me with not enough papers behind my photos. So I really like this blue star paper behind the photos. I feel like it really lets the people in the photos pop out because it's a dark contrast between their clothing and that background, or that aqua blue. So that's what I decided to put directly behind my photos. And I'm just going to make a really large square, well, it's more of a rectangle, for my photos to sit on. And then I decided for that chevron piece to just cut it slightly larger than the aqua with the stars. So I'm going to end up, this is where I decided, yes, I want the cardstock background, and so now it's a matter of the chevrons. And here's where I pull it down, and since it's behind that, I need that chevron going down because my photos are portrait, so I want that chevron going down to really draw emphasis to the photos. So I'm going to cut it just slightly larger, and then I'm going to get to the banners. And when I cut this off, I had flipped it over, and I had contemplated this green paper here with the hats, even though I don't really think it has that much to do with the photos other than my husband is wearing a hat. I needed another pattern, I needed another color, and since I had that little bit of green in the chevron, I decided that would be a nice accent color. So that's going to be just a little touch of green just to accent, but not a whole lot of it. So here I went ahead and I've cut the strips, so I know I want to do those. I'm trying to figure out where I want this washi, and I felt like everything was just kind of floating in the middle of the page. One of the things that I like to do when a layout's kind of filling like that is to put something along the bottom. I decided that washi would be perfect. It brings a lot of weight since it's dark, the black and the white. And I love that it's transparent because then the gray shines through, so it just feels like it's part of the paper. Doesn't really even feel like it's something that I added. And then I went ahead and put a row of the star washi on top of that to create a little bit of border. I decided I wanted to ink the edges of all these papers just to have a little bit more contrast between them, bring it up off the page, just create some shadows. So I used my Tim Holtz, this is the black soot, and my distressing tool. Man, I'm having a hard time talking today. Did that around everything, and then on my photos I decided to just kind of slightly angle them, and I also angled the star paper just a little bit, but the chevron is straight. But just to create a little bit more interest in the layout, I decided that the photos and that mat behind them would be nice, slightly off kilter. And so here I decided to go ahead and put this banner just behind the photo so more of it would show. And partly why I like that so much is my son's jacket that's opened has that little bit of white, and then it brings the colors of their clothing again into that. But having that right across where his face is at and then kind of where that jacket, it really makes him pop off the page. And then here is the green one. And so what I decided to do was I knew I wanted to cut the little triangles out of the banner pieces. So I cut the one end and then put it up on my layout to decide how long of a piece that I wanted. I wanted the green slightly longer than the white background one. And so I tucked it in and then I trimmed it off and I just creased it a little bit so I'd kind of mark where the center's at and then cut my little dovetails. And then I got it exactly where I wanted it. Had to go back and kind of antique the edges just a little bit with that black soot. And then now I'm ready to start kind of embellishing. I decided this washi would be cute to kind of bring that out a little bit more. In the end, it ends up not showing. In fact, the top I completely cover up. The bottom, you get just a little bit on each side of the embellishment that I do down there. but I decided to leave it because it was just one of those little small little details that you probably don't notice, but it does add a little bit of grounding to the embellishments that I do. Now I'm just going to start pulling off the things that I think will work with the theme, the journaling that I'm going to do on this layout. I wanted to bring in that little plaid oval, so I'd stuck it at the bottom, and you will see me move it. I move it back and forth, but it does end up staying down there. I really like it down there. And then I just put the Happy Days label sticker right over the top of it, so it looks like it's just all made to go together. And I wanted to use as many of these words as I could. I love these word stickers, but I seem to have a hard time getting them used up because it always seems like they're the wrong color for my layout. But these, I was able to get both of these, the smile and the together, because I'm just primarily right now looking at colors, trying to get the colors throughout the page and throughout my 3 clusters that I'm going to build up. So that smile is going to stay up there at the top, and the together is going to stay at the bottom, but I'm going to keep adding things underneath it. So it's going to move several times. This little piece, and you can see I moved the Happy Days over, and then don't forget to be awesome. I really wanted it in there, so I thought, well, maybe I need to stick it down below. But I didn't quite like that because then I have that dark navy smile at the top and the navy at the bottom, so your eye just kind of just gets pulled over there, and it doesn't get over to the 3rd cluster on the left. So that dark blue really needs to get pulled over there. So that's where I will end up moving that back over there and the oval piece back down at the bottom. Then I pulled out my little tray of embellishments. I really wanted to work these puffy stickers in, but the colors just didn't quite match up. The wording didn't match up, and so I don't think I got any of them. Yeah, I didn't end up using any of them on the page. But then going through these die cuts, I found this green hexagon and thought that's exactly what I needed to pull the green around in the layout. And I had the little label sticker. Again, those are going to kind of move. I found the gears, but I only had the 2 that were in the dark navy blue. So I was trying to find some other things in the blue. So then that's when I decided to go ahead and pull out these brads and the flare, because that's what I really wanted to use up from my stash. I wanted to get those used on a layout. And I am so happy that I did use the brads that you see up there and the cloth brads. The flare did not make it on the layout, so it's going to go back into my little container, but I will keep trying. So that hexagon, it was pretty big. It was too big for an embellishment cluster, but by cutting it in half and using it in a couple of different spots, I was able to pull it through the page and be able to stretch that out even further. And since I have that green banner sticking out, I didn't need any more green over there, but I do end up getting a piece. I moved this one here, this hexagon piece that was down below. I'm going to end up moving it up when I move that oval sticker back over to the bottom. So you'll see, and really, you know, it's still, when you look at it right here, the way I had it, it was still very green and blue over on the right, and it wasn't getting carried over to the left. So that's why I have to keep playing and keep moving that around. But by moving that oval sticker and stuff, it balances out. So you'll see that here pretty soon. Really, I struggled getting the brads and then these canvas colored brads on the layout together because they're both pretty big. The brads are pretty large, and the little fabric covered ones are, I mean, they're a good 1/2 inch, probably closer to a 3/4 inch brad. And I'm not used to using brads or dots. You know, I'm used to enamel dots that are smaller. So I really struggled with it, but I just went for it. It's like they are going on this layout. They need some little something. They got some little big something, but I used it. But in the end, I love this layout. I love the way it turned out. I think those are perfect little touches. It's a little stretching for me. It's not something that I would normally use, something that big, and especially 2 in each embellishment cluster, but it works great. So hopefully it will help stretch me to not be afraid to use bigger elements like that for my clusters that I create. So here I'm getting closer to where the final thing, where the final layout's going to be is And I apologize here, my camera cut out and I didn't quite realize it, but you didn't miss anything. I was just adhering the brads, and so you didn't need to see that. Here is where I decide I need a little bit more washi up there. The star was not showing up, so I pulled that black and white stripe up there and made it longer, just to pull that embellishment cluster out. I didn't do that down below on the bottom left. I didn't think it really needed it, but that top definitely needed to be stretched out and made just a little bit larger because it was kind of the same size as the other two. And I really like to make them 3 different sizes, a large, a medium, and a small cluster. The last thing that I did was I needed something smaller. I thought about pulling out my enamel dots, but I had the little heart stickers and there were 3 different ones in the color scheme, so I just added one of those to each one of my clusters. And then I went back for these little word labels, and I'm just going to stretch those around into each one of my clusters. I play a little bit with the colors and kind of where they go, but that was pretty much the end of the layout. I do go back. Well, the one final thing I did was I did get my black Heidi Swapp Color Shine and sprinkled a little bit of black sprinkles in each one of the embellishment clusters just to bring a little bit more of the black in. And actually, when it dries on the cardstock, it actually turns a little bit bluish looking, so it's really a nice touch to the layout. But that's going to be the last thing that you see me do. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check out the kits over at the Scrap Room, and if you want to see them up close, I do all of their reveal videos for the kit, so I'd love for you to come over to their YouTube channel and check that out, and of course leave me a little note and say hi, that you came and visited me over there. I have the day off. Today is Memorial Day, so I am hoping to get a couple more layouts done today, and then it will take me a while to get those loaded up, but hopefully I can at least keep you coming with 1 video a week. I'm really hoping. So here's the final layout. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see what you're creating. Be sure to leave me some little comments down below, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.